Kids worked the yard before, but that time it just plain destroyed it. That's the Langston River. Used to cut all the way to the wild. Think it was bad then. The Langston River flowed free and wild till the Calamity drank it all up. Maybe all that water just grew wings and flew off. Riverbanks swarming with windbags. They're so bent on finding the core, they hardly notice the kid. Lucky for him, a certain famous ferry barge is still afloat. Weeping Millie. She sends some squirts crying home as she leaves port. Maybe Nellie knows the way to the core. Maybe she can slip right past all the clamor on the coast. Or maybe not. A security skiff pulls up portside. Nellie's just another windbag to those guns. Just then, the windbags notice who she's sailing with. They're pretty steamed about what happened at Cinderbrick. They try to cut her off. They try to slow her down. They try to knock her out. Well, Weepin' Nellie tries harder. Try as she might, though, she hits a snag. Kid's gotta help her get untangled. Favors for favors. She picked a good spot for a break, because the core's right there. Then the kid hears an unusual sound, like 100 flapping wings. They've been watching his every move. Peckers. They had their own eyes on the core. But why? Well, kid ain't got time to think it over just yet. He finds Weeping Nelly raring to go. Turns out she's got a special surprise for when the waters get rough. She's gonna need a little help with all them peckers. Traffic things think they're king of the roost now. The rest of us only wish we could fly in times like these. Security skiffs keep on coming, starboard side. Don't seem to care what they shoot, as long as they hit something. Windbags getting even better out here. They aim to smash Weeping Nelly to splinters. Kid boards one of them skiffs like some kind of Ceylondian privateer. Well, it all proves too much for poor Nelly. She's just gotta make one last stop. With her last breath, Nelly gets the kid to solid ground. Solid ground in Pecker country. They want that core real bad. Seems the Calamity ain't hurt the Peckers' appetites. Kid shoos them off, knowing they'll be back. Know how many times Kid nearly fell off the barge back there? A good couple of times. Now, listen close. You should remember this next part. Why go to Prosper Bluff? Used to take an enterprising man or a plain old fool to venture out that far. The city was the most beautiful place in the world. We all knew that. But on the other hand, some folks just yearn to see the things they're told they can't. And that's why you go to Prosper Bluff, ain't it? There the kid hears something he ain't heard in a long while. How's it go again? Yeah, that's the one. Well, no point explaining what happens next, right? Suffice it to say, kid ain't coming home empty-handed.
I dig my hole, you build a wall. I dig my hole, you build a wall.
And besides, it's like the song goes.
Gonna build that.
They'll be here before too long. We darn near celebrated when the kid got back, didn't we? Zolf never thought he'd see a fellow Ura again. We become fast friends. Calamity has that effect on people. But there was more to be done. There was one last core to find. A scientific journal written in Zolf's native tongue. He learned so much from it. Too much. If only I'd known half the secrets of the Calamity were tucked away in that book, I'd have worked to translate it right away. So many secrets in there, and she can't even read it. Her father's own journal. Most of the Ura never got a taste of Ceylondia's fine goods, unless they were born and raised in the city like Zia here. Sure, the world's all gone to pieces farther than the eye can see. But leave it to this gal to point out the amazing view. Girl tried to run away from home one time, but the marshals stopped that, didn't they? Kid's surprised when I tell him there's only one core left. I shouldn't have believed it either. The lost and found. Here, kid takes fragments of the old world and makes them whole again. All it takes is some fragments, and the Bastion makes it good as new. A sail hammer's only as strong as its spine. That's a strong spine. We track the final core beyond the city to the wilds. That's the edge of the wilds, where Jawson and his boys disappeared. The wild unknown. Place can eat a man alive. Place is so raw, even the Calamity couldn't cook it. Not all of it. What's better than having a slinger pistol in a fight? Having two. Kid's faster than a slinger with those guns. Good thing pin cushions can't see where they're shooting. Pekka's got the core, like they're building a bastion of their own. The welcoming committee scrambles to attention. Didn't expect the kid so soon. They shouldn't have let their guard down. Getting that core was one thing. Getting out's gonna be another. He digs his way out of the clearing, but the wilds won't let him go without a fight. Wallflowers survived the Calamity. It toughened them up. Same goes for the kid. All too easy to lose one's way out in the wilds. Kid takes a last look around, 'cause he ain't coming back. Slinger Jawson's old outpost is all that's left of him. Don't ever turn your back on a pincushion. A handful of windbag shipments made it out this far. ain't seen the last of them. Pow gives a wallflower a taste of its own medicine. Kid's roused up half the wilds by now. Then Kid gets the feeling he's being watched. Not by me, by a lunkhead. And lunkheads ain't fond of two-legged animals. Hit him anywhere but the hindquarters and he only make him mad. The Calamity must have scrambled their eggs. Wild green vine apples not the only good thing out here. Hardly any signs of the old Bastion camp. Jawson's boys left all kinds of stuff out here. The Wild's already reclaimed this place. He's anxious to get back. After all, he's got the final core. His journey's over, right? Well, no, it ain't. Not by a long shot. Kid knows something's up when we ain't there to give a warm welcome. See, Zolf and I were just wrapping up a heated discussion. Zolf can barely muster the words. The Calamity failed, he says, but I will not. And with that, Zolf leaves us here, alone. Zolf cursed the city, cursed the Bastion, cursed me. Said he was going home. When Zolf got through reading that journal, he just snapped. Started smashing up the monument till I tried to stop him. Zolf banged up the monument pretty bad. But there's a way to put her back together. The shards. We're gonna need all of them to nurse the Bastion back to health. A pair of slinger pistols is just the ticket if a hammer's too slow. Takes a lot of moving pieces to make a dependable sidearm. Hensa. Javel. The city brought the shards to the wilds. Now the kid's gonna bring them back. Slinger Range is where the city's quickest pistoliers put themselves to the test. You have to think fast to survive the wilds, and none thought faster than the slingers. They could shoot their pistols with the speed of a machine. They knew just when to start shooting and when to stop. Those pistols could spit out rounds just as quick as you could pull the trigger. Learning to hold your fire could be its own challenge. No matter how fast you are, you can always get faster. The slingers could plug you full of holes faster than you could say draw. Slingers like to edge each other out using customized pistols. Eventually, it all comes down to reflexes. I gotta say, kid's the fastest shot I ever seen. He blew through Slinger Range like it was nothing. The less said about Dawson Bog, the better. That place will eat your mind. After Zolf's little episode, Kid sets off in search of shards. First stop, Dawson Bog. You'll get lost in that bog, I told the kid, and I won't be able to guide you back. Well, I let him go. What else could I do? What could any... Zolf put us in a real bind. Hurt the Bastion bad. But the shards can make it better. They're like smaller doses of the core's medicine. Shame the only place to fill that prescription is out here in the wilds. This place is intoxicating. Don't know where he's gone. Might be gone for good, for all I know. Wherever he is, somewhere I've never been. Somewhere I never want to go. The dead welcome him with open arms. Kid pops him good. That a survivor? No, ma'am. It's a lonesome ghost of a gas fella. What do you say to a kid who's seen too much? I'm Zolf of Igora. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Now the kid sees something stranger still. Did anybody else survive? Sure enough, he finds peckers, lunkheads, wallflowers, pincushions, vine apples, swamp weeds, ankle gators. Now the Bastion can send him even farther into the wild unknown. Kid sets foot inside one of Ceylondia's famous watering holes. He has the nerve to flash the shield he stole. The security's just met to straighten him out. Succeeds where the Calamity failed. Would you look at what he did to poor old Ronnie, the bartender? Proper story's supposed to start at the beginning. It's so simple with this one. Now here's a kid whose whole world's alright, snoozing there on a rock in the sky. He wakes up. I'm just fooling. He sees what's left of the rippling walls. Years of work undone in an instant. He sees what's left of Piff, the bull. The gods, they're all undone. He sees what's left of his lifelong friend. His friend, he's come undone too. He sees what's left undone. Thought we'd lost him, but he finally comes to. The shard ain't lost either. Not anymore. Now to find a ticket out of this hole. Bootlickers dig their nasty thorns into his heels. Ever heard of the lung blossom? It's bigger than the stories say. The breath on that thing, like a scumbag sprung a leak. They say one whiff of lung blossom can make you lose your mind. Well, the kid prunes it down to size somehow. Mother only knows what happened in the bog. Kid never much cared to speak of it. A shard is like a poor man's core, but beggars can't be choosers. That's it. A few more shards like that, and we'll be back in business. A single shard can breathe new life into this place. The shard's got enough juice to spruce up any of these places. The memorial may be finished, but our part is far from over. We talk a little, here and there. A sip of lunkhead liqueur will toughen you up. Too bad it's like drinking a saddlebag. The city tried to use the shards to stake out the wilds. So much for that plan. Court is back in session for the kid. Old ritual for when folks believed there was this godlike bull watching over them. Had to make do with nothing but a shield. kid pulls it off like it was nothing. There's a hint of pride in his eye when he gets back, and more than a hint in mine. To master the musket, you gotta get rid of the recoil. Best of the best cleared the course in just a few shots. Kid probably could have made himself marshal one day. The dynasty, to the families of the city, all reunited. He's made a right comfortable bed for all those bullets. That ought to give those dueling pistols a little extra kick. Finders keepers. Rothless Lagoon. Even the brushers stopped going there. Didn't like being eaten. Ankle gators used to roam the wilds, and they nested at Rothless Lagoon. Many a tale folks used to scare their children straight originated here. All kinds of beasts what don't know up from down still lurking about. Only the city's brushers knew their way around the lagoon. These beasts, they don't like company. Can't get hasty in a place like this. Even the brushers learn to fear this place. They used to think that ankle gators were extinct. Well, they ain't. One of them's been living in the tall grass. They called her Queen Anne. The lagoon's got plenty of other dangers, of course. Turns out Queen Anne got a hold of a shard. Ankle gators love shiny things. Know what smells worse than an ankle gator's breath? The stinkweed. Ain't time for pecker hunting, but the kid can't resist. Can't fight Queen Anne without the proper tools. The brushers use their pikes to keep their distance around here. Now the kid can do the same. Sharp sticks make Queen Anne nervous, so she backs off a bit. Kid's got a mean throwing arm. Those pin cushions been living off the ankle gator's scraps. Queen Anne can't fit down some of these narrow paths. Queenie leads the kid into some kind of twisted trap. One bad step in that tall grass and he's Queen Anne's lunch. He holds his ground. Seems the Queen's running out of options. Still no sign of the shard. The closer you get to an ankle gator's lair, the thicker the tall grass grows. Kids gotta make a run for it. They say you can't hurt an ankle gator unless it's raining. And it ain't raining. Queenie must have scared a bunch of peckers out of hiding. Seems even stinkweeds know to stay away from the Queen. Ankle gators don't much care for their young. That's why there ain't many around. Want to know how to find an ankle gator lair? You use a kid as bait. Now she's coming for him. She's got nowhere else to go. The shard's sitting in plain view. They say if you run across an ankle gator, you better keep running. He's got it. And now to finish her off. She's starting to get annoyed. Rest in peace, Queen Anne. That was for the brushers. Kids done what needed to be done. Queen Anne's reign is over. We even got a crown jewel. All that trouble for a single shard. But you know what? It was worth it. They said Queen Anne was just a folktale. Now there's living proof she ain't. That gator's a crazy gal, but so is the gal who promised to look after her. Still no mail. Go figure. Come on, give the little tyke a break. Ain't saying much, but that's the greatest forge in all the city. The slingers, the wilds were their calling. To fix a brusher's pike, you just need a good length of knife bark. Don't want that thing leaving your hands until you decide it's time. The city, its riches nothing but fragments now. The next shard should be farther out there in the wilds. To prepare for the wilds, Caelandia's brushers practice at Camp Dauncey. Had to navigate a maze of pincushions with nothing but a pike. It's a dangerous test for a dangerous job. Health tonics were off limits at Camp Dauncey. They said they made you weak. The rules said he couldn't use any fancy footwork, just your brains and your pike. Sometimes the course was brutal. Just getting through the course in one piece was an accomplishment. The brushers were Caelandia's field agents, and their training was harsh. You had to find a path through the maze as quick as you could. One well-placed throw can take out several of those ugly critters. You can see why the brushers prize those pikes of theirs. Gotta make sure the pointy end's fastened on real tight. The brushers, they moved in shadows, but the Calamity found them. Sometimes I want to ask him, why do any of this? But truth is, I don't want to know. The inspiration, a forge can fashion anything. Point Lemaine's Grand Rail once brought the riches of the wild right to our doorstep. Know how Caelandia became the richest city in the world? 2 words. Point Lemaine. If the wilds could ever be tamed, it was gonna happen right here. But now, the greatest outpost past the city line is nothing but a freak show. The army's triggers once had the place on lockdown. Kid might as well pick up where they left off. Blam, just like my fighting days. Gun like that can even put the wilds in check. Point Lemaine seen better days for sure, but it ain't done. whole place shudders in a fit. The Grand Rail of Point Lemaine, not only is it still there, it still works. Of course, it's no longer shipping hides and alloys and spices, but it can give the kid a lift. Just as long as it can stay clear of the trouble on the tracks. Grand Rail's all grown over with things that Calamity chewed up and spat out. Things eager to take back their turf. Kid lets a few of them slip by. Lunkheads settled in like they own the place. Takes fancy footwork on the rail, but with wallflowers coughing fungus everywhere. The place used to be closed off, but now it's split open like a rotten pineapple. Of course, the Grand Rail's seen much more fighting in bygone times. Near on 50 years ago, first shots fired in the Ura-Ceylani War. Right here that Zolf's Ura forefathers decided to mix it up. Okay, so maybe we didn't get their sign-off on the whole Grand Rail thing. That was bad. The rail must have shook the Ura to the bone down in those dens of theirs. Well, the rail won't last much longer now that the kid took the shard. It's still got one good run in store for him, though. All the rotten wood there on the rails turned it into swamp weed central. Ever tried dancing side to side while holding your breath? While shooting a genuine registered armored carbine? While choking on swamp weed? While peckers trying to prick you in the eye? Well, let me tell you, it ain't fun. But then, at last, it's the end of the line. Should have seen him tiptoe around those swamp weeds in his way. Turns out he's got company up at the rail station, waiting for him. Not just another wallflower, pincushion, mind you. At first, he thinks it's Zulf. Turns out he's wrong. This is for you, says the man. Then wham. When the kid comes to, the man's long gone. But something else is there. The only words Kid recognizes on that parchment are for Zia. Well, what's a kid to do? He took the shard, he took the hit, and he took that note. That note cuts straight to the heart of things, don't it? Finding gourmet ingredients ain't easy these days, but we'll take what we can get. The note says it plain. Zia, go east to learn the truth about the Calamity and our people. I'll be waiting. Sincerely, Zulf. It ain't too late to unlock the potential of this place. Awful big lost and found under the circumstances. Zulf's messenger was one of his people. Wondered just how many of them survived, and what exactly Zulf told him. It wasn't fixed, it was unbroken. You never guess those things been to the wilds and back. The Masons. We built the city strong. Now there's only 2 of us. That's the way to make every shot count. Even the army never issued carbines in such fine shape. Kid arrives just in time to sample Zia's famous cooking. He wolfs down too much too fast, and it all goes to his head. I've said a lot about the kid, but he ain't the only one wrapped up in all this. Machete and carbine still go well together, just like in the war. The shards are getting harder to find.